All right. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. 187,000 jobs added in August. Let's see what that looks like. Is there a clarity? Let's see. What were they looking for? I'm trying to think. All I know is the stock market went up. August labor numbers 62.8%. Unemployment rate at 3.8. What else we got going here? So it made the market pop. So I guess it's showing weakness. It must be showing weakness. So 187,000 added. Okay. They're looking at the labor. Okay. End result is that the stock market is lifting. I wonder what, and what do we got there? That's the weekly. Let's see, take a look at the daily on the dollar. Okay, so that's being pressed down. Let's go over to there. Let's see what it looks like right here. Where's the dollar index? Right there. There's the dollar index. Oh, let me get the chat line up on the screen too at the same time. Let's see, right there. Okay. I guess that's what it is. It must be lower. Now you can see here that this is the dollar index there, right there. So it's at 103.50. It lifted yesterday, didn't get into the buy. Today it's trying to get into the buy. I don't expect a lot out of it. Let's say hello to some people on the webinar. Let's see who's in the chat line. And the answer to that is... There we go. No one's saying anything. Okay, cool. Not bad. I didn't want to miss anybody, so that's good. After 3 minutes. What else can we say about any of this at this point? I guess the best thing is that it made the market very firm. I'm gonna listen in a little bit. We're gonna talk and listen at the same time, like a trading floor. They got some people on there that I really enjoy. Let's see what else we got here. So August average hourly earnings was up 4.3% year over year, with an inflation rate of, let's see, basically in the fives year over year, something like that. 5.8. I think year over year inflation rate is 5.8. I know they're showing you a lower one right now, but okay. Kevin Hassett, who was the former Council of Economic Advisors, which is very sharp. Okay. Okay, so they're going to say the first quarter is going to be, last quarter is going to be stronger, as we've been talking about. Okay. So it must have been dropping. That's what it comes down to. It must have been dropping. Let's see what it says on Dukascopy there. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics published the month. U.S. dollar reacted to the news. The average hourly earnings were expected to have increased by 0.3 tenths, but actually grew by 2 tenths. Okay, so it's slowing. That's what it is. Farm payrolls were forecast at 169. They came in at 187. That's not that bad. Meanwhile, the market force for the unemployment rate was 3.5. However, the market were surprised to see an actual number of 3.8. That's what I thought. I thought it was off by about more. All right, so that's what we're really seeing. Mountain, hey, how you doing there? Let's see. Robin says, "Arg." Roll over, Robin. It's a 3-day holiday coming up. You're off until the 5th. Is it the 5th? Yeah, the 5th. You're off till September 5th after today. Let's see. Mountain says AUD and NZD trades that have been talking about all week are doing very well. Cool. And I hope you're taking some profits out of it too. Let's go over and take a look at them. Um, there is the AU. Let's go find the AUD. There's the AUD right there. Yeah, it's still firm again. It's higher than where it went into the buy. The weekly is still weak. You can see that. Can you see that? It's kind of. I guess I should try to like make it thickerish. Style. Just make that thing thickerish like that. There you go. You start to see that, and then doing the window, format the window. Let's make those lines a little bit more fun in the sense of the grid, like that. No, I don't like that. Dots, no. That, no. That's, yeah, I think that, is that better? I think that might be better. And let's see if we can move this down a little bit like that. So you can see that, it got into the buy. It's tried to make highs. It's doing okay. But overall, and I guess the way they're interpreting it for the dollar, let's dismiss that. The way they're interpreting it with the dollar, what it really comes down to is that, when it came in unemployment at 3.8 versus 3.5, it means that, the economy is cooling a little bit, but we noted that fourth quarter is going to be much stronger. Robin says, I'm never off just my rocker. I hear you. But, for us in the States here, this is a 3-day weekend. So, in essence, basically everybody, today it's the first, and next thing you know, the next time we're paying attention to the market, it's the 5th. I will do Monday's webinar, of course, because there's always something in there that we can talk about, and the currencies will be moving around, but they're not going to be moving that actively. But let's go over. We got the AUD up there, right? Let's go take a look at the other one that Mountain was talking about, NZD. There it is. NZD is doing the same thing. It looks like the AUD, and it looks comfortable. It's what can I say? It's trying. Oh, we'll put a zero line in there too for the weekly. There we are. There we are. So there it is there, and you see the market is trying to. The weekly is trying to get up. The fast is getting up through the zero line. Maybe there's going to be a lot more follow through. Look, I keep on telling everybody here the dollar is overvalued. There's no doubt that the dollar is overvalued. 97, 98, 95 would be fine on the dollar index. We finally broke that century mark and got down to the low 99s. But I don't find that as a disaster. And so, I would imagine there's always the opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, is that I guess the thing. As I say that, I keep on hearing that voice in the back of my head. There is serious talk that we're going to see, 5% GDP going into the fourth quarter. At the end of the fourth quarter, it's going to be very firm. Maybe it'll only be like 3.9 or 4.4 in the end, but that's still a big number. From that's all the money pouring in from the government. It's government money punching it up. Hot dog and beer weekend for U.S. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm already getting texts about coming over for dinner and doing that. Currencies were always move on holidays as well. Many times very active. I guess if there's news that comes out, currencies are going to reflect things really well compared to everything else. Remember, currencies are actually used. Here's a good analogy with currencies. You know how everybody wants to call the crypto equities, I call them equities or assets, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth, as they want to call them currencies. They're not really currencies. They're equity transfers. They're units of transfer. So I was explaining. Was I explaining it on the webinar yesterday? Oh no, I was explaining to somebody that was into the bricks. The guy that called me during the webinar and said, "Yeah, I want to fight with you." He was down in Florida, and he had his airplane protected from the storm, and he had his boats. He has a couple boats. He lives on a boat. And anyway, the end result is that I explained to him. I said, I like cryptos. And imagine you're Nomura. And I might have said this on the webinar. Imagine you're Nomura Bank in China, in Japan. And a customer goes, I need to move $50 million dollars to the United States. So, Nomura goes, okay, fine. Now they go and he puts this $50 million into the bank. The bank goes to transfer it. But the bank has to have $50 million in credit in America to transfer that money. That's how that Federal Reserve System works, okay? Now, imagine if he says, can you transfer this $50 million in crypto to America? They they move the $50 million into the Nomura bank. Nomura transfers it into cryptocurrency, and then within a second or two does a cross trade in the United States for $50 million, and then all of a sudden it's just there. Okay, and they don't have to have $50 million sitting there so it saves Nomura $50 million just to do that accounting process. So can you imagine you're saving $50 million just because of the type of equity you've used to exchange assets with, and it happens in a matter of seconds instead of maybe minutes and in the clearing for 24 hours, and it's a whole different creature. These cryptos, they're not really a currency. They're an asset unit of transfer. They're able to transfer equity anywhere on the planet at a moment's notice with no problem. And so now you fast forward to what Mountain said. On a holiday you can get active. What happens is if someone has to move equity somewhere and they need to transfer currency, they're reaching in, they're transferring the currency. They have to make sure that they have the X amount of dollars at the other end at the same time. They have to take delivery of the same dollars at where they're based, and so it's $100 million to move all that $50 million around. Okay, with the cryptos, it's just $50 million. That's it. Boom, done, over. So that's the reason why you would see some action on a holiday is someone has to move something. Now, chances are they're not moving Tesla or Google stock like that. They don't care. It's a holiday. But currencies, someone buys an airplane. A company buys some major equipment, and they want to get the job done. They want to get this thing going because they want it to be shipped as soon as possible, because it's for the ones who bought it, the machines or the planes or equipment or food or whatever it is, they want it shipped as fast as possible, and they won't ship it sometimes until it's paid for. And so 24 out of 48 hours can mean a heck of a lot more than with a crypto at the speed of light almost. And so there's your example of why that activity might occur during the day on a holiday. And at the same time, it gives justification why I've been a very strong supporter of the asset itself. I know it's not a currency. It's more than a currency. It's a transfer payment. It's a unit. In many ways, you could say it's like the Chinese yuan. How the Chinese yuan's not really a currency. It's a conversion unit. So you come to China and you want to buy something, and they say, okay, well, this is what our unit is. Give us X amount of yuan. And they do that. And so that's how that all works. See, currencies always move on. Let's see, Mountain says, even though the U.S. and Canada and holidays, the rest of the world does not. Right, exactly. But what you're talking about there is about 40% of the world's economy right there, just those two countries. And so, and we do, when you think about it, if we're doing 35, 40% with the United States and Canada, imagine if you put Mexico into the mix. It's a very big block. And so people will take the advantage of taking a holiday if they can. But they will not slow down trying to keep business going forward. So in other words, if they're buying equipment or airplanes or vehicles or food or, whatever, and they need to transfer currency, you know, they're going to be out there doing it. And this is basically this is a currency webinar. We do it all here. We do the stocks, we do the commodities, we do gold and silver, we do it all. And so we do the equity stocks, indexes. It's nothing for us to talk about binaries. We do it all here. So this webinar is a currency webinar. So we try to emphasize the mechanics of it all, and that's the whole idea. If you want to try to make money trading these things, you got to understand how they work. I mean, you just don't flip a coin and jump in. I know you could go with the dartboard theory of Wall Street Journal, but overall, that's not the smartest thing to do. And that's used on stocks pretty much. And it's always funny how that if you use a dartboard on stocks, you do better than most of the money managers. It's always a funny thing. Gotta get my tea. Hold on a second. Got my tea. I forgot to grab my tea before I started the webinar. Okay, I made it. I just didn't go take it. All right. Now where's my lid? I forgot my lid. Hold on a second again. I got my lid. All right. I went to go for my tea, and it was like, oh no, where's my tea? All right. So. That's the mechanics of it all. All right. Now, if anybody wants to see anything else, say it. If not, I'll just run over to the euro. Let's see what the euro is up to this morning. There's the euro. It's flirting around with the daily sell at the moment. It's just below the zero line, as you can see right there. Let's check it out over on J4X. Where is it at? J4X. Right there. And at the same time, it's also, all right, so you can see there, it's pressing down, same thing. We see the fast at 62. We see the slow at 68. That's the dashed line yellow right here. That's the slow. We watch that. We see this is the fast right there, trading at 62. You see it in the little blue box there, the little yellow box there. And you can see right there, we've got a yellow hinky ASCII bar pressing down, matching up with our dot system right there. And you can see we're just below the zero line, and we're still in that weekly sell. All right? So there's pressure. They're still buying the dollar because they do know that the dollar is, moving in that direction. In other words, it's more going up than down. I believe it should go down. I'm always saying it should go down, but it doesn't. It finds ways to dig in and hold on because, as Janos said, I guess it was yesterday. It's like when some of the craziest things are going on in the world, and sometimes it's America making them go crazy. Instead of people running away from the dollar, they go and buy the dollar because liquidity and security is very important to investors. Okay, and that's the gist of it all in the end. That's why Japan is still an active country. People are still involved in it, even if they've been in stagflation now for like 30 years. Same thing with Germany. And the European Union. When you look at the euro is the second largest currency trading in the world, and it's also the European Union is the second largest economy in the world. I don't know why this media wants to try to tell us that China is. They keep on getting it wrong, And now you see, I got a message this morning from a trader, one of the old floor guys, one of the old chairmen actually, and he sent me a message about China this morning. The defaulting, what they're doing in China. And it's well worth talking about, just a little bit. We don't have to focus in on it, but it's an interesting story. I think they opened up the computer systems, and they're giving like homeowners 20% rebates or something like that. or 30% depending on the favorability of the maybe the individual. I don't know. You never know with China the way they do things. In other words, because the Communist Party comes first, and then everybody is ancillary down the the lane there. So, and let me just read you a little bit of the story, which was really fascinating. It says here, it was off of Bloomberg. He sent it out. No, it's Grant's. That's what it was. It was Grant's newsletter. He said, turns those machines back on! Exclamation. This morning, the People's Bank of China established a nationwide minimum down payment requirement for both first and second-time home buyers at 20% and 30% respectively. As of September 25th, replacing a regional framework that featured down payments of as high as 80%. The central bank likewise encouraged local banks to trim existing mortgage rates as authorities look to slow down or arrest a downgrade spiral in the linchpin of property realm. In other words, their property market, which amounts for up to almost 1/3 of the total domestic output by some estimates. Okay, so in other words, the economy over there in China is running really slow, and their real estate market's having major problems. And so it says the reduction of the interest rate of existing house loans can save interest expense for borrowers, which helps expand consumption and investment. So the People's Bank of China states sales among China's 100 largest developers sank 34% from last year in August. The data released today show roughly matching declines seen in July and June. So they're taking it hard on the chin over there. And while new bank loans tumbled at 349 billion RMB or yuan, basically, which comes out to be $48 billion. Last month, per data provided, wind down nearly 50% year over year. They're taking it hard on the chin over there. It's the lowest since 2009. And so the grant, it goes on and on and on, but they're having real major problems over there. Yeah, they're saying Grants is saying, let's see if I can bring that over a little bit. Can I bring that over? Grants is saying, this is Grant's newsletter. That's the, let's see if we can do that like that. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Let's see if we can get it back on the screen here. Like that. And Grant's newsletter, let's see if I can move this over a little bit more like that. Grant's newsletter is saying that it's almost 34% of the GDP. And that's just in other words, what numbers you're seeing, and as a matter of fact, if I want, if you want, I can send this over to you. Maybe you'll find some information that goes with your fundamentals. Here it is. Chinese property firms will account for nearly 40% of global default volume during the calendar year of 23. Wow. More broadly, the crumbling real estate edifice. This is the number one writer, I guess you could say, of interest rate markets and bonds and so forth. Grant for I guess like 35, 40 years now. So he chases lots of interesting numbers. The GDP. I just don't believe China's GDP is anything more than $7 or $8 trillion. That's all I think it is. I read, because remember, what defines that GDP is the currency. And if the currency is fixed, then that's a pretend number. And you got to figure, let's say that the yuan traded 20% of the world's currency every day, or 30%. Well, then you could take the currency pretty serious. You'd have to say, wow, this is the real deal. But it only trades 2.5% of the day of the market, and that's a really small number for a country that's supposedly, $15, $16 trillion economy or $17 trillion economy. Something's wrong there. Whereas the European Union, you're saying that the European Union is what, about 16 trillion, 15 trillion. I've seen as much as 18 trillion, 17 trillion. Yeah, that's what I've seen right around there. And and the euro trades what, 35% of the world volume or something like that, 32%. The U.S. currency trades 50 some odd percent, and the euro is another 30 some odd percent. That's why in the dollar index, the euro is 54% of the dollar index. The Japanese yen is something like 20% of the index. The Canadian, the British pound is something like 15%. Right there alone is 80 some odd percent. Let's see, 54, 20 is 74, 74 and 15 is 90. So about 90% of those three currencies are the dollar index. And then the Swiss, then the Canadian is something like 7%, or no, it must be like 6% or something like that, or maybe 4%. I know that the kroner and the Swiss franc are equal in the index. So there's only 6 currencies that make up the dollar index. Let's see. Poland, Czechs are every east of the Slavic does not use it. Yeah, I know. I don't blame them. I mean, we have it here. You see it on the spreadsheet. We have the Polish. Let me put the Polish currency up. That's a good point right there. Let me move this off the screen. But I watched the Polish currency. It is strong. It's a good currency. It's been that way for a decade since I started following it. It's been locked in the fours, basically. It's right there. There's the euro. Let's make this thicker, too, so you can see it better on the screen. It's a good currency. I always watch it. When it does something not good, I start to worry about all of Europe. Let's see if we can make this thicker. Let's see if I go like that and go like that and then go like what does it? There's another button here. Oh, apply to all the components like that. There we go. So there's that, and then let's make this thickerish. And then make that a little bit thickerish. So you can see there, that's the zloty, the Polish currency, and look at it. It plays between let's put it this way, it's way more stable than anything else out there. It's one of the most stable currencies in the world. Look at it. Look at that move. You're talking about from 4.8 right there back in February down to 4.4. That's all it is, 4/10. That's not bad. We've seen currencies go at that same time. When the euro, let's see if we can go back further. It's a very stable currency. It stays in the fours all the time, and it does a beautiful job at it. Instrument. Let's see if we can go back further. Setting. All right. Let's see. Let's make it 600. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this will get us more data. There you go. So, there's the zloty. The zloty's a very solid product. It got up to 5 back in March of, 22, I'm sorry. Got up to 5, but, before, and that was, probably some odd political stuff. Oh, that was probably the war. Okay. Yeah. That was when Russia invaded Ukraine. And then it calmed right down again within a few months, and it was right back into the 4.6s again. And it, so it vacillates in that range. And look at it now. Remember, this is going down, so it's gaining against the euro. It's not losing against the euro. So it's stronger. So in other words, it's euro. For the euro to gain in this thing, it has to be higher. It has to be going up. They fix up imported used goods. Yeah, they do a lot of good things. Although land and stimulates local consumption as Poles production bunch of spare parts for their own. Issue cor- uh, Issue comes to imported goods like electronics and cars. An average Pole can buy much more than the Euro users in the Baltics. Yeah, I bet. I totally. Yeah, yeah. I have no doubt. And I was ready to say something. They just bought 100 Apache helicopters from the United States. We rarely ever hear in the United States, just throwing, giving them equipment. They seem to always have to pay for it somehow. And then they begged for the nuclear defense thing, and they got it. And I was so happy. And they moved it from Germany to Poland. No, I mean, Poland is very productive. Matter of fact, am I right, Janos? But as I understand it, Poland is the second largest industrial nation now on the whole continent of Europe. Right? They knocked out France as the second largest industrial nation. That's impressive. That's really impressive. Let me go sip the tea. I'm waiting for Giannis to say yes or no on that. But as far as I know, they surpassed France over 2 years ago now. They lost the title again. Back to. Yeah, so Germany's number one. Poland is second to Germany. Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, that's as I thought. Yeah, the French lost that title, right? Yeah. Oh, Italy is now with the new woman. She's really doing some good stuff there, isn't she? Italy is second now. Germany recorded the highest, and then the EU following Italy, and then okay, yeah. How about that? And the Netherlands, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of that's. I'm really happy with the old Eastern Bloc countries. Holding on to their own currency, practicing capitalism. Doing the good things. People's lives are better from it. Socialism is supposed to help people out. Instead, it makes them all wear the same color pants and the same size shoe and the same size pants and the same size shirt and the same size amount of food to eat. In other words, one size fits all. It's not a way to live your life. Not a way to live your life. So, let me think. What else is there going on here? Let's see. Yana says, but I know that you don't have any idea what they're making. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I know that stuff that made around. Let me see if we can get rid of those damn hearts. I got like all kinds of things. Let me see if I can blow it up bigger. There we go. Okay, there we are. Let's see. But I know that the stuff that is made around the Baltics is then shipped to Italy, stamped as made in Italy, and sold to idiots across the world as luxury Italian stuff. That's the way it goes. The Russians used to buy a bunch of luxury Italian beds. They were made in a prison near Riga. Really? Well, that's capitalism. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Now, I'm not I'm not happy that they're putting fake stamps on them, but that's capitalism. That's how it all works in the end. It does. It is what it is. And I don't complain about it. I just accept it. I do accept it. So. Anyhow, where do we go from here? Okay, so I was raving about the Zolti. Okay, let's go from the Zolti to the cable. And there's a cable right there. You can see it. It's trying to lift up. Oh, let's see what it looks like on the new platform too. Where's it at? There it is. Let's see. There it is right there. Now let's go look at that. So you can see here let's put it on J4X too. There's J4X, and there is the cable. You can see it's still lifting up. Slow is at 60, almost 62, 61.9. The fast is at 70. This is the daily. You can see here we've been in a daily buy for 4 days on the GBP, and you can see 3 greens there with no problem. You see the greens here, but the weekly is still weak. It's underneath. And at the same time, let's go down to our new platform. And what do we got there? There's the weekly. It's trying to come up. Now the daily is in a sell, which is interesting. That's very interesting. Look at that. It was in a buy before. I'm not sure if something's wrong with it. We have to check that out because it's been in the sell since here. Okay, it went into the sell in here, and we have to work on those dots. So don't trust the dots at this point. But so it's basically been in the sell since here. It fell down. You can see it's trying to bottom in here. Okay, now it's doing something. There you go. Now it's generating a plus right there. I think someone is. If Robin, you're still around, I think Jeff's working on it because that's looking a little bit wider. I told him to widen this thing out more, and it's doing some interesting stuff here. And then we'll work on the dots later. Now that this is starting to straighten out. The currencies are a little bit tougher for the data feed, but overall it seems to be working out. So it's reflecting. The weekly's doing a fine job. I like our weekly. I really trust that. And the daily is normally pretty good. Matter of fact, it's kind of interesting. In many ways, the daily went into a sell. What's that? 8 days ago it went into the sell. And when you count back, there's 5, 6, 7. It went into the sell right here. That's 3. 5 is 8. There is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so it's right there. We're going to get these things to start to line up better. He may be working on this as we speak. And that's, it caught the pressure. The math caught the pressure very well. And so, I just can't complain about it. What else can I say about any of it? I guess, again, I want to say we're going into a 3-day weekend and so forth and so on, just thinking it's going to be sloppy slow. But, Mountain might be right. There might be more action on Monday in the currencies. Not obviously the stocks, but definitely the currencies. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything on this chat line here. Russians used to. Okay, they were made in a prison near Riga. I despise people that look at brands and countries of origin without actually looking for quality. That's capitalism. I look for the quality and not the name. To get something stamped as made in Italy, the last part of assembly and packaging had to be done there. Yes. I remember that's what the NAFTA did. NAFTA was all about that. I used to hate that. I think that's the most ridiculous thing. It says here, and then Yano says, then the whole product must be also going to Italy, GDP. Yeah, right. No, that doesn't make any sense either. That's what's wrecking fundamentals. And the moral of the story is a complicated and fabricated. Exactly. It is. And, that's why, to a great extent, throughout my whole life, I've never bought because of the brand name. I've always bought because of the quality. Because putting a brand name on there is so much more we call it disgenerous. In other words, you can be generous, kind, friendly, or disgenerous, unfriendly, and unkind. And I find it disgenerous. Okay. So, I follow recommendations a lot. Yeah, that's a good way to go. Personal ones, but making But marketing knows that word of mouth makes more money than ads. Yeah, it does. No, that makes total sense. All right, let's go over what's anything big coming out of England. I mean, England seems to be upside down anymore, but is there anything jumping out of England in the top of your head that they produce that people are excited about? Now there is the Swiss. The Swiss is holding up. Didn't get into the buy yesterday, but it looks like it's doing it again today. So it's getting weak. That's odd. It's down for the day, but the math is turning up on it, and we're still in that weekly buy. So that pressure is on that product, even with it going down at the moment. Okay, you see it over on J4X the same way. It is trading at, wow, what is that? It's at 50.3 on the fast and at 42 on the slow. So it's trying to lift up there at the same time. What else can I say about any of it? Now, let's see. Before Brexit, everyone ordered from UK. Now, gym rats shop in Poland. The prices are ridiculous low, like magnesium at 30 times cheaper in Poland. Yeah, I would think they're very productive in Poland. Poland. Look, I've said this for a lot during the webinars during the old days too. I used to say the Poles in America are very productive. In other words, the Polish immigrants, the Polish, a lot of Polish businesses in America. It's been that way for as far back as I can remember. A quarter of me is Polish. The family started the business from Poland in the 1870s, 1880s, something like that, and brought it to America, and was very productive and successful financially with it. So there's a lot to be said with the Poles. My dad used to say we're just blockheads in the end. Let's see. We only got. Let's see. But none of these. Let's say the prices. No, but none of that is investable. How does one invest in Polish firms? I imagine stocks. How's their stock market? I see a little of it. I don't look that closely at it. We only got the Poland stock. Oh yeah, you're already saying that index on some exchanges. Do you have one for Dukascopy? Is there a Dukascopy? We only got the Poland stock index on some exchanges. I see Dukascopy has it, but we do have a single company. What's the symbol? Yeah, it's smart. There's better money doing it that way. So I'm going to put in Poland. Nope, I just missed that. Let's try that. Ah, there you go. Is that PLN, or is that the currency? No, that's the index, isn't it? Yeah, I remember looking at this a while back. I remember seeing it on one of the world charts. Didn't pay attention that much to it. I thought, that's interesting, the price tag, in the 2000s. Let's make it the whole page. I'm going to try to get it up on my system, too. See if there's a... and let's put the weekly in there. Boy, they've been climbing nice, huh? Let's see, where's it at? There it is. There's the weekly. I'm going to see if what I can get on mine, too, at the same time. On the new platform. It says PLN IDX, low liquidity index. By the way, sometimes it's flat more than 5 minutes. Yeah, I have no doubt. I understand their exchange does a good job, but I understand it's not that busy, but it's a good exchange. I've been told that. There is no choice to filter Poland. There are 2 Portuguese stocks, but none in Poland. How about that? Yeah, I remember when the shipyards were finally transacted after the Soviet Union collapsed. Let's see, not there. Let's go there, there, and let me see if I can find a Polish index on Yahoo. Poland. Yep, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Poland. And if anybody wants to see anything, you know, Giannis and I are just sliding out into. There's an iShares. Oh, there you go. Let's see what the iShare does. There's a Poland iShare trading at $19.15. Let's see how that looks. And I'm going to put it up on our system too. The symbol is EPOL. Let's see if I can put that up on there. Snap. I can take a look at Snap. That's a stock, right? I recognize it. What? I mean, I kind of. It sounds familiar. What is Snap? Let me go find it. Let me take this EPOL and put that in too. Snapshot. Is that a company? Okay. Let me put this one in, and I'll put that in. There we are. Oh. There we go. And what is the symbol again? It is. I just had it in my little pause. EPOL. EPOL. Save. Okay, now I can go hunt down Snap for you. Snapchat. Oh, Snapchat. Ah, I was with a friend, an old business partner, Wednesday for lunch, and he was telling me about one of our friends from the exchange, old friends, and he plays poker with him once in a while, and he owns a slice of TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. He has a. It's not a public stock yet, but it's valued at $3 billion. His TikTok investment. So, for a minute, I was thinking it was Snapchat. Let's see. Let's find Snapchat. Snapchat. I'm hunting it down right now. Snapchat. It's private. Snapchat. Okay. There's no stock to it. Yeah, it's a private entity. There is no stock to it. Users moment advertising Snap earnings advertising. Let's see. Federal judge blocks Arkansas social media act. Okay, that's the ticker. Yahoo's saying, "Oh, okay. Let's just try Snap." There you go. Okay, it's a $10 stock. Okay, let's put it up on the machine. We can get that on there. Let's see. Where do I go from there? I go right here. Open. That. Let's put Snap in there. Yeah, I kept on thinking of Snap-on Tools when I saw it. That was a big tool manufacturer and seller. They sold other people's tools, really. Okay, Snap. Let's see. Let's go like that. What else? Where else shall we put it? Let's put it where the Google was. Insert. Let's see. Add symbol. Okay, here we go. Snap is loading. It's an NYSE stock. Okie doke. Here it comes. There we are. There's Snap. Went into the sell there. Went back into the, let's grab this one. Went back into the buy right there. And it's lifted up. It's fighting its way into the weekly as we speak. Let's put a line in there. There we are. Went into the sell here. Let's put the lines in for you so you can see it. There it is right there. Yeah, it's, I got a 1042 last. So went into this. It's interesting, and then I guess it was in a buy from here. It caught this nice move up, and then it went into the sell right there, and was in the sell all the way to here. So went into the buy there, and can move that guy out of the way, and move that gal out of the way. And we can move that one out of the way. So this goes back into the sell right there with the weekly sell. And at least you don't get crushed up in the, what's that, the 12.5, 13 area. We've been in the sell since, when it was up there at $13 or $13.15. And so it got knocked down to $10. And then finally went into the buy. Oh, it went into the buy there. Okay. And then it went into a sell there, and then back into a buy. There, like that. And at the same time, we were pushing down, so you didn't really want to try to take that trade. If you did, you were rewarded, of course. But and then you could take this short here, and it went on for. Wow. It didn't go into a buy until right there. So went back into the buy. That was a nice winner chicken dinner. And then it pushed into the sell right here and lasted for 2 days, and it wasn't that good to begin with, and you gave up a little of your profit from here. Just a teeny weeny little profit. And you're not short, so you didn't get bashed to death on it this way right there. So there you go. That's the action of Snap. Cool. Very, very, very cool. All right, traders. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a quick minute of everything just to give you a chance to see what's going on. So let's jump over to the rest of. Oh, let's do it this way. We'll do the currencies. We'll do the currencies really fast. From there's the Swiss. Let's go to the yen. There's the yen. You can see, it's been in a daily sell for a bunch of days here. Kind of surprising that we're waiting to see if it's going to try to turn up again. It's still in the weekly buy. There is the Turkish lira. It's in the daily buy for 4 days now. And the weekly is still in the sell, though, so it's battling to try to hold on. Over here is the CAD. The Canadian dollar has been in a daily sell for 3 days. It's trying to lift up again, but it's still in that sell, and it's been in that long weekly buy since the 131.5 area. And then we got the South African rand, which rallied up, which gold should have fallen down, and then now today it's going back down again, so gold is relatively firm, I would assume, and we'll go take a quick look at that. There is the Mexican peso that we loved. It's a great product, and unfortunately they're not going to help the BRICS at all. They've walked away from them. From there, we've seen NZD and so forth. That's right there, still lifting up. Now let's jump over to the metals complex. We'll close out of this. Yes to all. And let's go take a look at, let's do oil. We got oil right in front of us. There's the oil market. It's still lifting, heading for 85. I imagine Brent, let's see where Brent is on this. Brent is trading at, where are you, Brent? There it is. Brent's trading at 87.80 almost. And you can see U.S. Light sweet crude in a buy for days upon days and closing in a weekly buy this week at the same time. The back month is trading $1.50 lower, but still up and closing in a weekly buy. There's copper. Copper's holding on. It's been in a daily buy for a bunch of days, a couple of weeks now. The weekly is not flipping yet. There's silver. Silver, it looks like it will close in a daily, at least a weekly buy. It looks like it's going to do that. We'll see. And you can see it's trying to lift back up, but we're dipping just a little bit after it running from the 23 area up over to the 25 area in a daily buy. And gold right there. Did the little zigzag yesterday with the South African Rand. It's lifting back up. It's still in that buy now for a bunch of like a week and a half. And the fast is going into the weekly buy, but the slow has not yet. It's got to get through this area right there. Let's take a look at natural gas. There's natural gas. You can see it's in its buys, but the weekly is still in the sell. All right. So what else can we look at really quick? And then we're getting out of here. Market's opening in a few seconds now. There's the S&P 500 trading up at the 4,542 area. All right, traders. We will be here Monday. Same time, same channel for the slow-moving action, but, we get our frustrations out. So this is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a healthy and smart weekend. See you all.